obvious now that your wing of the party has lost control of the steering wheel. The other side have pushed you out of the way. They've got the steering wheel. They're going to drive the car in the direction they want. And it's very hard to see how you're going to get it back, at least for a couple of decades, isn't it?
But people who want to see a Labour government, people like me who support Clause 1 of the Labour Party, about being a parliamentary party that wins power, yeah, today's a great setback for us. The NEC elections are disastrous, as is the High Court ruling, and there's no doubt in my mind that a Jeremy Corbyn-led Labour Party, with the kind of focus it's got now, is not focused on electability, it's not focused on winning power, it's not focused on winning elections, and it may not take 2 decades, it's certainly going to take 10 years to take the Labour Party back to where it can be a presentable electoral party.
I mean, do you, Rachel, agree that it is basically, essentially, we've had two people wrestling over who's in control, and it's resolved in favour of the left?
I think it's ridiculous to suggest that only one part of this equation is interested in electability. Of course, Jeremy Corbyn and his supporters want to win power.
But can I just ask you to answer the one I asked? Do you think you're in control now? The left is in control, and it's very hard for John McTernan to get control back.
What I see, if we're going to use this analogy of control and a steering wheel, it's like one side of the party, taking hold of the steering wheel of the Labour Party and repeatedly slamming it into a wall. I mean, let's look at what's happened recently. We've had mass resignations, and then the decision to have a leadership election, even though we've only just had one, and then saying that Jeremy Corbyn couldn't be on the ballot, and then saying that Labour Party members couldn't vote for him. And now we have a High Court ruling saying, actually, yes, those Labour Party members can vote, and the NEC response is to contest that using Labour Party membership money. So at what point are they going to say, hang on a minute, we're a democratic party, this is not a democratic process anymore?
I mean, the McDonnell quote, says it's a small clique, John, a small clique behind closed doors who've openly expressed their opposition to Jeremy.
I'm not sure.
It is true, isn't it?
No, I'm not. I don't think people have been silent about their scepticism about McDonnell himself and about Jeremy Corbyn. There are people who are opposed to the tradition of the Labour Party that wishes to win elections. That's a perfectly decent tradition. They just shouldn't be in charge of the Labour Party. Jeremy Corbyn's poll ratings are some of the worst that any party leader's had. The Labour Party is 16 points behind the Tory Party. Really, if you're judging by results, his shadow cabinet are alienated. 80% of the parliamentary Labour Party have to work day in, day out with him, don't trust him, and the public don't want to vote for him. And that's before you've even started to discuss about his IRA support for Ken Livingstone, his anti-Semitism, all those things. It's like we've barely scratched the surface of what's wrong with the leadership. This is the same discussion
we've been having for the whole of the summer. I do want to just focus it aside. The John McDonnell quote, a small clique of people behind closed doors, couldn't we say that's the same of momentum? I mean, Claudia was a momentum candidate. I mean, Rachel, isn't that exactly what one would say about the clique who've taken over the Labour Party, isn't it?
I think that when you hear stuff like that, it just seems to be so disconnected from a fundamental change that has taken place in politics. Look at the number of people joining the Labour Party. 500,000. That's amazing. That's the biggest party in Europe. That is a signal of change. That's not a clique. That is people who have been disconnected from politics for decades and are now re-engaging, reinvigorated, and actually want to create change. That's not a clique, that's a movement.
How do you get to represent 500,000? Because it's basically been supported by momentum, being on their ticket, and then you get the whole lot of
I'm a Labour councillor. I've been a Labour member for over 30 years. I have been a long-standing Labour member. So when you look at the membership of the Labour Party, it is wide and it is diverse. It is reflective of British society.
Could you have been elected if you had not had momentum saying, vote for Claudia? It's as simple as that. They said who to vote for, and you all got in.
I think what you saw was a vote for Jeremy Corbyn's ideas and policies and the step in the right direction. Members voted last year in an overwhelming way for Jeremy Corbyn, and that is what, in a sense,